Martin's Test Shaves. It's a Tuesday. It's horrible, really nasty outside. It's late morning, so I thought, I'll have a look at my unusual razors and see if we can do something a bit more interesting. So, what I've got today to show you guys is something very unusual. This is a comb razor by Puma. It is, of course, a Puma style. This is just about 7/16. It's not quite a 5/8, as you can see. It's got lots of interesting patent dates, likely etched onto the blade. But more to the point, it does actually work very well. I put a 20k edge on this about 2 years ago, and it's still perfect. It's still zinging away. It's hanging hair tested absolutely supremely well. So this is a little bit of an unusual shave today. As a comparison though, here's another slightly unusual razor. This is a Puma 91, which is one of the best Pumas ever made. It's got a gold panel on it with, used to have, highest possible on it, whatever. But it's the early one. This is a Latajung and Soon. S-O-H-N, Latajung and Soon. And obviously it's got the earlier Puma tank stamp. But anyway, I only mention this one because it's still absolutely incredibly good as a razor. There's the case for it, and that's all my notes, how many times I've used it without stropping it or touching it up. Tells you something about Puma steel. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. Let me get on. I'm going to use this last time probably, this crappy little brush. It's again a Badger, cheap, I imagine a cheap Badger brush from a London company. I shall be using a Lavash from our very good friend Eric, and that is a vanilla flavour scented soap. And he does make very good custom soaps. I was so privileged to have some from him. Anyway, let's put a little bit of this on. As I said before, I'm not really very good when it comes to lathering up with Badger. In fact, Badger brushes, I'm sure there are wonderful Badger brushes out there, but I've never found one. I've only got cheap ones. So we'll give this a quick rub up. It's just tub lathering, not very successful. Anyway, I'm going to try first pass with the beautiful little Puma. Double hammered steel, remember? Double hammered 1950s probably. Anyway, let's get on. I'll shut up. First things first, do try to remember, because I know don't always, must dry fingers. Because even a very small razor is exceptionally naughty if you're silly with it. So let's try this little Puma style. Beautiful little razor. 20k edge. Let's see how that works. Very small blade, so it makes virtually no noise. But that's cutting very nicely. Yeah, it hanging hair tested beautifully. As you can hear, pretty effortless. Anyway, that's the first pass on one side. I'll make a comparison now with the Puma 91, which is a bigger razor and has never let me down. Let's put this one down for a second. Pick this one up. This is the beautiful Puma 91. Yeah, that's so much more crisp. Oh, that is a beautiful edge. I think people don't rate Puma works very highly because there's not that many about now. Yeah. That's one of the best edges I ever achieved, and that's with a very, very good quality razor. All the Pumas are good, but what a lot of people don't realise is that there's a very fine numbering system. It's found always. Now this one's been slightly over clean, but let me show you the other one. Now this little fellow, now this has actually got all the little tiny stamps. It's got one, gosh, I can't hardly see it. It's got 280 on one side. And on the front it's got another number, I think 741. Those are directly the people's stamps that assembled the razor. And if they're still on there, which they are on this one, it's rather interesting. It shows a bit of history. Anyway, let's put a second pass and then we'll be done. Oh, I'll tell you what, if you've got any doubts at all, don't buy cheap Badger brushes. They're rubbish. This is from a company in London originally, Edwin Jaeger, and it just doesn't really lather. It's a nice soft brush, as Badgers often are. I've had a couple, but if it doesn't lather up very well, it's not doing the job, is it? Anyway, that's going to have to do. Very nice, very mild scented soap, as you'd expect. I'm going to go against the grain and see what happens. Yeah, surprisingly nice against the grain. Across the grain too, I suspect. You'll have to forgive these strange camera angles. I've changed things around a bit. Everything's falling apart. The centre cannot hold and things fall apart. Sounds a bit like modern society, doesn't it? Let's do a buffing pass just to show. Down and up, down and up, down and up. Yeah, that worked well. And let's go and wipe a bit of the lather off. Get a bit messy. Go across the grain. Virtually silent. It's a very small razor. And normally I don't like small razors, but if it's a Puma, I'll make an exception. And this is a Puma. First rate steel. If you can put a good edge on a little Puma, it'll reward you significantly. Yep. No complaints at all. Beautiful little razor. However, I'd have to be honest and say, probably a bit of a novelty, this one, whereas the other one isn't. However, I can honestly say, as a moustache comb, as a hair comb, it works beautifully. Right, nearly there, nearly there. I'll shut up and go away. Listen to the difference between a really deep hollow ground 5/8. This is just over 5/8, to be honest. Yeah, it's superior. I love to hear the steel working. This is double hammered steel. And nice tempered. So if you're in doubt, try and get yourself a Puma. They are without doubt the best of the German razors in my opinion, for what that's worth. Anyway, beautiful shade. Two smaller razors, but they've really chewed off the stubble. I'm going to now, as a comparison, do a test. I honestly say this little flick comb is actually rather useful. Obviously hair is no problem, The starch works very well, and what a lovely little novelty. Works a treat. However, if you were travelling, I'd use this. Beautiful little job. But still, they both do the same work. Okay, wipe this off. I would stress, as I always do, when you're dealing with high grade steel like the Puma, do remember they don't like water. So when you finish your shave, apart from the obvious, which is drying on a towel, you want to use a pipe cleaner. I can't stress that highly enough. If you get water between the scale and the pivot, it's over. Good night. However, yeah, one more time. Very nice soap. Thank you very much. The Cajun Blade. Eric makes exquisitely nice soaps. Very gentle, very, very nice to lather, unless you're using a crappy badger brush, in which case they don't lather very well. I'm going to just put a little bit of my favourite splash on, which is the Ariana and Evans Kaizen, because it's very, very gentle, doesn't sting ever, and it's skin food. So let's look at the mad bird. The mad bird riding the dragon. Really, really nice stuff. Can't recommend the Kaizen highly enough. Still, that's a 2-razor shave with 2 very unusual razors. No marks, no cuts. Anyway, here's something which I thought I'd just break the news. I've gone over 700 subscribers. Can't believe it. Thanks so much, guys. I hope this has been vaguely amusing and I wouldn't say educational. I think that's stretching things a bit far, but amusing will do. So there we are. We have the Ariana and Evans Kaizen Splash. We have the most unusual Puma razor comb. And this, as I say, is the Puma 91, which is one of the finest razors ever made. And that is a fact. However, sayonara. Thank you so much for subscribing. I hope this is vaguely amusing, and I'll see you all soon. Martin's Test Shaves. Over and out.